Warriors, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. We have a lot to get to on this Sunday morning as the big countdown begins to a Santa Claus arriving. I know I look like a cross between, I dare say, Patty Hearst and Monica Lewinsky, but we will leave that for a moment. I want to ask all of you to please make sure you can hear me, so check in with me. I also want to say that please make sure you are subscribed to our Lynn's Warriors channel, because we are hearing from people they are unsubscribed on a daily basis. And I am not liking that because I want to get out information, facts, truths to you that you may not be hearing any place else. Now, Frederick, I see you there. I see Max there. Please let me know if you can hear me before I start ranting and raving and telling you a bunch of things that are going on. We are going to be covering, and we have to, Carla, thank you very much. You're hearing me perfectly. Thank you. Now, because, there's a lag here. So that's why I always want to double check, because once I get going, thanks, Sean, I may not stop. It's hard for me. My brain goes crazy. We have to talk about the drones, right? And I'll tell you why we have to talk about the drones. Thanks, Frederick. Because many parents and grandparents have been contacting me, telling me, how do we talk to the kids about the drones? How do we talk to our teens? Because, they think they know everything, but we still want to mention something. What should we say to them? What's going on here? Listen, I'm going to keep the focus, the drones, on the kids. And what you should indeed do is speak to them age appropriately, not too much information. And the bottom line is, thanks, Null. Thanks, Gracie. Good morning, Christian. I know I'm digressing, lots to get to, but you should tell them, the kids with the drones, you are safe. You're with mommy and daddy. You're with grandma, grandpa. You're with auntie, uncle. Just tell them they are safe. That's all they need to know. Now, the older kids, the teens, because they have access to so many devices and undoubtedly are hearing things online and seeing things and seeing what I'm seeing here in New York City and hearing about. And there's a lot of panic. And remember, the kids always pick up on what we are feeling. You may not think so, including our, again, teens who think they know everything. So just sit them down, talk to them casually. They are okay. They are safe. If you want my take, my 2 cents on all of this, there's nothing, this is going to sound strange. Yes, we need answers. People are demanding answers. It is ridiculous that these things are flying through the air and people are freaking out. Kids may be seeing them and getting scared, and our own government is not telling us anything. I think we can all agree on that. On the other hand, I think our government knows exactly what's going on here. I'm not an expert in drones and government and all of this. I think if somebody wanted to pull something, we wouldn't be seeing them. We wouldn't be talking about them. They would have no lights on. I've been seeing over the Hudson, as our windows face the Hudson River, for a couple of years now, drones, but our NYPD, our police department, has always told us that for security reasons, they use drones flying over the Hudson River. So especially late at night, there's a direct path also to Newark Airport, but I can tell a plane. We're also near a helicopter pad where helicopters are taking off from the West Side Highway. I can tell a helicopter. The drones I've been seeing kind of look like a round ball of white light, and they just hang there in the air for hours. They don't go anywhere, right? It's not a star. It's not a planet. I did notice a couple of weeks ago around Thanksgiving time, a couple of them, I usually say like one of them, and I've been seeing these for a couple of years now. I noticed a few of them. And I would say to my husband, Lionel, like, look at these things. I did try to take pictures with my phone, and nothing comes out in the pictures. And this is really before everybody started talking about the drones. But I do have relatives, I do have friends that are really reporting these things coming close to their homes or their apartment buildings. Somebody was sitting on her bed in her bedroom, and it was seemingly almost outside her windows. Somebody else said it was coming between the apartment complex. What if one of these things crashes, gets caught in a tree? I don't know. So again, let's put the focus back on the kids, reassure the kids everything's okay, and they are safe. Let's just go with that. I want to talk about what happened. Let me just check here, who's here. We've got Edie. Edie, thank you for reminding, because once I start talking, please, everybody, hit the like button. We want to build successful, truthful, great algorithms on YouTube. And I'm not going to go into explanation here. for reasons you know. But, you know, this content may not always get out there. I guarantee you, though, if I did some low-hanging fruit and made fun of people or just lied about stuff or just made up facts, I'd probably get millions and millions of likes. But anyway, thanks, Edie. Yes, please hit the like button. There we have a Googie and a Butch are watching. Welcome, Googie and a Butch. I just want to say also, part of my costume, as my husband called it today, I would like to thank my bro in Jersey for providing me with this lovely pin I am wearing on my tam, as my mother used to call them, my beret. And also, actually, my sister gave me these earrings that I have on. And my bro, that would be my brother, warriors out there, gave me this necklace. So I am adorned and ready to hit the road for our afternoon of holiday fun. Okay. Yes, Max is here. I'm glad to see that. Yes. ABC to pay Trump $15 million. Frankly, again, I don't wade into that kind of thing, but you know what? Frankly, they should be paying him more. That's my 2 cents. I'm not a lawyer, but that's my 2 cents. Also, I do know he has a couple of other lawsuits pending, so I think they will follow suit now and be paying him. The administration, I understand the funds are going to building the Trump library. So that would be for 45, 46, and 47. I think you know what I mean. Laureen or Lauren, I'm not sure how you say that, if it's Lauren. Yes, Sean Atwood, I am very afraid when my husband goes on the Sean Atwood show, which is fairly frequently, and Sean's in the UK, and we're here in New York City. I really have to say I'm very afraid that Sean is going to have, I want to knock on wood, some sort of attack from laughing so hard. He's keeling over. He can't control himself. But I have to. I just thought of this morning. I love when Sean Atwood. Now, there's part of me, never put kids' pictures out there online. I agree with all that. Sean brings his little son, Ziggy, on to say hello and things like that. I just love that. This little baby, I think Ziggy might be about a year old now, a little over a year. He's the cutest little cherub thing. Little boy. And then we got Elon walking around the halls of Congress with X on his shoulder. At first I was like, well, I don't really like that because it's a child. Now I'm kind of liking that. Here's little X going to the halls of Congress with his daddy, walking around. Then we've got Vivek. He's bringing his little son to the Army-Navy game yesterday. I'm kind of liking this. Men stepping up and bringing their boys, and let's get it going. So I'm thinking about all this stuff today. Yolanda, thank you. Loving your look. Thank you. I want to talk about the success we've had this week in Washington, D.C. It has been hectic, but it has been great. Now, bear in mind, we call this the lame duck Congress. That is the period between the old administration, which is very hard for me to say, old administration, because I really have, when I think about the last 4 years, I've blocked it out. I've really blocked it out. However, we must remain vigilant, and we are so empowered because what will be taking place beginning January 20th. 2025. The excitement is beyond, but I'm going to calm down for a minute. So it's called lame duck Congress. That is the, between November, the election we had, and this taking over January 20th or 21st, as some say. I, of course, say the 20th because that's the inauguration. Why should it be the 21st? And you have just this, what would it be, 8-10 week period where every bill, every piece of legislation you are trying to pass in the name of child safety, online, real time, anything to do with the internet, you can go 150 million% and urge your representatives. Remember, they work for us. We pay taxes, and too many taxes, frankly, but they work for us, and they need to get off their you-know-whats in Congress, right? And they need to push through some of this child safety, address it, look at it. Speaker Johnson right now, little birdie told me, well, first let me stick to the successes we've had. Senator Cruz from Texas got the Take It Down Act going. That means a big tech platform has 48 hours. When it is reported there is something sexual of nature, we're talking minors now, everybody. If they don't take action and get this down in 48 hours, that platform, every platform, whether it's Facebook, Snap, I don't want to say YouTube because we're on it, but it is, you know what I'm saying about every platform. They will be held criminally responsible. Sounds good. Great. It's a move in the right direction. How we implement these things, are the questions I ask in Washington all the time, and people meet me with a blank look. But I'm still chipping away on that with the Warriors. Now, the next thing, we've had tremendous success with our partner, Paris Hilton, who, don't be judgy out there, who was a victim as a teen of institutional child abuse. What does that mean? Paris is in the state of California. There is a wonderful Republican um, uh, congressperson out there, a senator, excuse me, Senator Shannon Grove, who does tremendous work. I applaud her. I hope to speak to her soon, right here on the Warriors channel. And she paired up with Paris. Paris, in the middle of the night, and she doesn't blame her parents, because remember, the parents didn't know at the time. Paris is already in her early 40s, was a problematic teen. So they thought, okay, well, or they were advised that, what do? They have these camps and these ranches you send kids to, and they straighten them out and they make them do hard labor, cleaning up after horses and studies and things like that. Just excuse me while I feel better. Work off their aggressions so they can reintegrate into society and be more productive. And a lot of these places, they would come in the middle of the night and take a child out of their beds. And this is what happened to Paris. They came in as a teen. They took her out away the ranch in the dark. She's screaming. She's crying. She's thrown in the back of a van, and she's put on this ranch. Long story short, all these years later, a lot of things happen on those ranches. We have a lot of studies. I'll put some in the body of this video later, of kids who are forced labor to the point of they hurt themselves, sexually abused, and other things. Because we're a family program, I don't want to go into it. We also had a number of deaths in the year 2023 at these so-called child safety ranches and places where kids are supposed to be getting better, right? So we have to talk about all of that. Let me just, before I go into that story, because let's see. James is saying hello to Edie. Edie is saying hello to James. Gracie saying hello to James. James is saying Mrs. Ellis stunning. Thank you very much. Work camp. Yes, that is a work camp. Lauren or Laureen. I'm not sure how we say your name. Frederick. I remember driving a tractor while on vacation. Not sure, Frederick, what that comment means, but okay, we'll just go with it. So let's get back to Paris. Paris has, no matter what you think of her, people were putting me down because I was promoting her and this bill, which is the Institutional Child Abuse Act, along with Senator Shannon Grove, that I will remind you again from California, I adore. Anybody doing work in California, and there's a lot of people we're not hearing about. We think California, we think crazy, we think Newsom, we think horrible. Yes, but let's leave that over here, because on the other side, there are a tremendous amount of, for lack of a better word, conservatives, Republicans, common sense Americans, because I am in California fairly frequently and I am meeting them. People who may not even know what I'm about, just regular people. It could be, in a restaurant. It could be, in the CVS. It could be anywhere. And as they start chatting and talking, I'm a listener. I'm always like part of, focusing group on the public. What are the public thinking? Because we're in this bubble at the Warriors, inundated with Albany and what's going on, inundated with Washington, D.C. and what's going on, our work, right? So we have to always, and we do in the Warriors, we do a tremendous amount of work outside in the public. You may not ever hear about it because I believe it should remain private. But I'm always what the public wants to hear about, what the public's thinking, what the public's talking about. So anyway, Paris and Senator Shannon Grove got this bill bipartisan. Remember, here at the Warriors, everything we talk about is bipartisan, belongs to no political party. It's about human rights abuses, protecting our children, empowering parents and grandparents, whatever that family unit is, because today in America, our family units are made up of aunts and uncles raising children, cousins raising children, older siblings raising younger children. So I'm very cautious. Cautious isn't the right word, but I want to address it all, because as we work in the communities, especially here in New York, of Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, that family unit, this is where I learned about this. It could be a family neighbor who took in kids because they're considered like an aunt or something like that. So family units, the traditional mom and dad, although we love that, it's a different country. So I address everybody. So Paris, I want to get back to this. When I was promoting this about a month ago with Senator Shannon Grove, And it finally got passed this week. And you know what? It's Paris Hilton. And she's got millions upon millions of followers. She's got a platform. Young people do watch her. She is, I don't like the word influencer, but she's there with her millions upon millions. And if she likes what I do, and I'm liking this institutional child abuse, act, right? To hold them responsible, to have guardrails at these places, for profit places, right? Where is the government? They received, I'm going to put the report in here. It's like hundreds of millions of dollars in the calendar year 2023 to run these places, yet there was no transparency. There was no accountability, and kids were harmed. And the big harm. And I'm saying the big harm because of the algorithms here on YouTube. I think you know what I mean. You're all smart warriors. And I got people, and I bring this up because I'm not a negative person in any way. I'm more of a cheerleader, an empowerment warrior. I got people sending me all this horrible stuff because I mentioned and supported Paris Hilton. Warriors, you have to realize, and this is what I stress and try to teach, and I wish the public would get on board. It's a really tough thing. I am able to separate. It is about the work. We know so many bad things, right? I don't want to rehash trafficking, which I have called now slavery, because that is a much more descriptive word than trafficking, human slavery, enslavement, right? Again, more enslavement in our country than any other time in history. I am able to separate, and I try to do this in Washington. It's tough. It's tough because it's this way, right, left. If somebody is doing good work and it helps our children, if it helps get legislation passed, if it helps our school system, which we're going to be cleaning up, another program, I'll get into that a little bit later. If it helps parents who are overwhelmed and burdened, and people are trying, let's be real, warriors, people are trying to pay the rent, the mortgage, buy groceries. It's Christmas time. I can't tell you the empowerment we get at the Warriors. And because of you out there who have been so generous to us, sending not only monetary donations, but also goods, offering services, volunteering for these community giveaways, because after all, our Warriors hashtag is community creates change. So we go into the communities and we do it on the outside. We cover tables, picnic tables. We've got fold-up tables we bring along, with tablecloths. We give out everything from ski jackets to boots to diapers to personal care products to socks, gloves, hats, scarves, everything to make a mom, a dad, just a little smile on their face. And we have been, tomorrow we'll be in Staten Island. We're covering everywhere. We will be on the 21st in Brooklyn. We've been in the Bronx. We got a call from Toys for Tots. Listen, when a Marine calls, you answer. We got that squared away. They have a very big arm of distribution, and the word is out. But to hand a mom, and I thought when I started this is really the first season of doing it to this extent. We've done it. And again, you're not going to see a lot of pictures because we just don't do that. We don't post vulnerable people online kind of thing. Yeah, you'll see me put some pictures at tables or maybe the group of us working. I'm very cautious, not posting children. If you see a child I post, it's usually the child holding the toy. You see the hands in the toy. You don't see the child's face at all. I would never do that, okay? Certainly not with AI. I digress, another program. But to see the faces, and I thought when I started this, and we started right after Thanksgiving this year, because it's free, right? People would come and grab and hoard and take. I have to tell you, people have been so respectful. And they're like, what do you mean it's free? We have our warrior signs and we give out water bottles and snacks and candies and stuff. And I'm like, oh, take some gloves. Oh, really? Yes, hesitant. And we give them little shopping bags. The looks on the faces for a mom pre-Christmas who could get a couple of ski jackets, who could get some slippers, who could get some toys, to see the children clutching a toy truck. We're also very big into art sets, artwork, sewing, crocheting for the older kids and the little kits and things like that. And to see them, we push literacy here at the Warriors, an actual book, not on a phone, not online. You hold a book, you smell a book. I know that sounds weird, but you know what I mean. You turn the pages, you get to the end, you feel accomplished. And then the adult, the mom, the grandma, the dad, whoever it is, shares that, tell me about the book. We're making headway with that. Let me just go back because I know there's some comments here. Thank you, Lionel Nation. People should make sure they subscribe. Hillbilly says you're getting some results. No, Hillbilly, I'm not getting some results. I'm getting big results because remember, here at the Warriors, we don't talk about everything we do. I'll just put a little hint out there. Get ready, January 2025. I'm going to leave it at that for now. Michael, it's not only save the children, it's protect children, it's intervene, it's education, it's helping parents and family units with all of this happening because it's so overwhelming. So I never use that phrase like save the children. I don't like it. I know a lot of people use it, but it's protect them. Real time, online, being educated, how to know how to talk to them. It's all of these things in a busy world that we all have to come together and spend a few minutes a day working on, right? There's Laureen or Lauren. I don't know how to say your name, so do it phonetically so I call you the correct name. Subbed, good. Michael, don't forget to join and subscribe and click the likey thing. Thank you very much. There's Lori Lewis. Thank you very, very much. Super sticker. Thank you, Lori. All of our funds go into education and all we talk about with the giveaways and supporting survivors. But I want to get back to that legislation because we know what I talk about on the Warriors is not that popular. Good morning, Kelly. We got to talk about it because human slavery, I'll say trafficking so you all understand what I'm talking about. And you are hearing with the new administration going in, much more talk about it. It is the number one crime going on in America. It's not the drug trade. I don't care what you read, what you hear. I'm here to give you facts. I work with law enforcement. So I get my information straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. It is the buying and selling, especially of children. That is the demand. So we have to do everything in our power online. Nobody's looking to steal anybody's privacy, to let the government in. I understand the concern because I think about it a lot. Once you do something to limit something online, then that can lead to other things, to break it down very simply. But we cannot allow, remember our tagline, wherever the children are, so are the predators. So we cannot allow them to have the upper hand because they have it. They are always 10 steps in front of law enforcement. They are always 100 steps in front of government, right? And the last 4 years, they did nothing to protect children. I am here to say they did nothing to protect children. Again, this is supposed to be a bipartisan issue. During the Trump administration, I was in the White House. I was there for Human Trafficking Day. We celebrated. I was there as copy was being written to start addressing. Headway was being made. And then, of course, you know what happened in the middle. But now we're back. So I'm going to be in Washington a lot more, working to help you, to help our children. It's going to be a retooling. Nothing works that was. We have to have a rebranding, a retooling, more inclusiveness. And when I say that, that has a bad connotation sometimes. But I mean, I started mentioning, if somebody's doing good work, to work with them. And then people attack me. If you attack me, just go away. Because unless you're doing this advocacy, this work, you're creating a difference, right? I don't want to hear from you, okay? Or go start your own channel and complain. We don't have time for complaints. Laura says, save the children. You save them, but we want to intervene, educate, protect. Michael says, don't forget to join and subscribe. Okay, everybody join and subscribe. Everybody's saying that. Oh, Kelly's got a super sticker. Thank you very much, Kelly Logan. Janny, good evening from the UK. Well, it's not that late there, right? I don't know if it's about 4:30 or 5:30 there. Depends. Carla is a big warrior. You know what, Carla? Thank you so much. I met Paris at a private club in Miami a few years back, and she was sweet and kind. Kudos to anyone who helps our cause. Absolutely. That being said, I also work with Senator Richard Blumenthal from Connecticut. And I'm not going to waste our time. There are things about him I don't like. There are things in his past he has said and done I don't like. But he a Democrat, okay, from the state of Connecticut, our neighbors here in New York, works with a woman I love, and will always say this, Senator Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee. They jointly sponsor the Kids Online Safety Act, KOSA. And you've heard me talk about this before, right? Okay. This lame duck Congress, we just had a day on Capitol Hill, Tuesday. Parents traveled there whose children have been harmed from the internet. CSAM, child sexual abuse material. They've been threatened with sextortion, all kinds of things. Signs, Capitol Hill. We stood there, tremendous push online, all different groups from the right, from the left. We had prayer circles going to address Congress to push this through. We even had Elon Musk along with Linda Yaccarino, who is the safety expert at X, Twitter, right? Everybody should know it's X by now. She and Elon stepped in recently to help Senator Marsha Blackburn and Senator Blumenthal recraft the language a little bit in this bill to make it even more conclusive. It is very simple. The bottom line for anything I talk about with you and these pieces of legislation, and I don't want to bore you, but it's so urgent, is just that big tech be responsible, have some accountability, do their jobs. Look, they're making billions off the backs of our children, right? It's about swiping. It's about addicting them. It's about getting them to buy gaming. Remember, gaming is a big site, especially for boys and young men, of all this slavery trafficking. Take responsibility. Now, that being said, the problem right now is that there is something called Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, established in 1996. Now, that at the time, I mean, that's almost 30 years ago. Since 1996, do you know what, warriors? We've had one piece of legislation for child safety. Well, now we have the Take It Down Act, so we're getting there, okay? 1998, Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. You can't sell kids' information to third-party vendors, sites, whatever. Okay. Well, you know what? A lot has happened since 1996, 1998. We need to sunset this Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, change it up, amend it, do something, because that says that all of these sites, every site is like a big billboard. It's like a newsstand. So they can't be held responsible for anything a third party posts. And that is what they constantly bring up. And they're rightfully so, because they're protected. However, if you're watching, we are seeing, I try not to get too political, but how can you not get political in this day and age, and everything that happened in the last 4 years and how children were attacked, whether it's in the education system, whether it's open borders, which was just allowed. Okay, our kids were watching that. Cartel members coming in, Trendy Aragua. People called me crazy 2 years ago, infiltrating every middle and high school in America. Do not be fooled, warriors, to get our American children to deal their dirty drugs and to traffic their peers, okay? People said, you're crazy. Oh, you can't come on Fox News and talk about that. You can't come on CNN and talk about, why not? Which is really why I started the Warriors YouTube channel, so I can address these. Maybe not go too much in depth to scare everybody. We got to mention this. Now they're coming around, okay? Let me tell you something. And I know I'm all over the place, but I can't help myself. I'm taking I'm not liking, because now the Trump administration is in power. We've got a lot of powerful people attached to President Trump. I don't say president-elect. I just say President Trump, everybody. And I'm noticing a lot of these groups on the left, okay, starting to get chummy, trying to get in, infiltrate the administration, because they know now these are the cool kids, right? That's where the money is. That's where the power is. I'm resenting that I'm seeing this. I'm seeing some of them go on mainstream media or cable news and talk about child safety. Where the heck were all of you when I was talking about the open borders? Because Homeland Security and DEA was telling me, Lynn, this is what is happening. Where were these groups to talk about all of that? Well, they weren't around. They didn't want to hear about it, right? They didn't want to hear about all kinds of things. They didn't want to hear about, in addition, the boys in the girls' dressing rooms in the gym classes. They didn't want to hear about the tampons, where we at the Warriors, and I know it's a family program, got to bring it up, it's part of life, collect those kind of products to distribute in the communities, because girls' bathrooms don't have them, a lot of the dispensers, but they were putting them in boys' bathrooms. So all this craziness, I'm going to block it out. I don't want to get carried away because I could go on and on about the last 4 years. We're going to stay in the present. I am going to do my best, because not on my watch. I am not allowing these infiltrators who haven't helped me. I shouldn't say help me. I should say who put a hand up to me. Because remember, we're attached to a lot of different groups and coalitions. And remember, it's bipartisan work and advocacy. And how I was pushed away or not invited. But you know what? I've done my work behind the scenes, so I am invited. So you'll be hearing a lot about me working in Washington. I'm going to leave that for after the new year to announce any kind of things like that. But that is my hopes, because I'm going to get in there. I don't take government monies, right? I do private donations. So I am not bound by towing the line, which I see a lot of organizations do. They're afraid to speak out. They're afraid to reveal the real facts and truths, because they might lose that grant. They might lose this. They might lose that. I'm speaking out. I mean, the last time I was at a Senate roundtable a couple of months ago, I said, with all due respect, what is everybody doing? We know it's bad. We can't keep sitting here and saying all of this is bad. Where is, and this was right before the election, where's the game plan? Where's the strategy? Where's the brainstorming? That is what we need to do. And those organizations that take in millions upon millions of dollars, that are on the government list, that every single year get a check mark, because it's easier to check things off than do your research. Really? Well, it's time to spread that money out, which I did actually see with my own eyes President Trump doing in his first term, and giving to organizations that never were given money before with child safety issues, trafficking, slavery, also to the tribal nations. First time they ever got monies. People fight me on this, but I was there, so you can't fight me on it, because it's the truth. Because I actually heard Joe Biden one time say he was the first president to give monies to indigenous people. No. Lie, 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 lie. But anyway, we need to get back to the strategies of those bigger organizations, or very well-known ones. The monies have to be distributed better. The ones taking in lots of money, because they may be, I don't know, a well-known football player or something, and says they're sitting with a lot of money, distribute to smaller groups around the country that can effectively work boots on the ground. Because remember, our hashtag at the Warriors is community creates change. That is where we have to fight for legislation. That's number one. Number two, I mean, they go hand in hand. And that's why it's important when I put take actions out there, that you add your name and your zip code, because numbers count on these bills, legislation. But those organizations need to share their monies with the smaller ones, because there's a lot of very small, effective organizations working to help children and parents. And you know what? It's mostly volunteer jobs, right? It's mostly because they have a passion, a calling, or they're a survivor who is strong enough now as an adult who wants to help other kids, moms, dads, with all of this. So we need to figure out, and that's my plan at the Warriors. I mean, I just blow it up. I don't know what else to say, except it has to be retooled, rethinking. And that's what I say in Washington. And that's what I'm going to be saying in Washington. And that's what I'm going to do everything in my power to make them adhere to help all of us. Because after all, we can't even send our kids to school anymore, drop them off, pick them up. We have to be worried about all these issues happening during the school day. Or maybe they go to sports after, or dance class after school. And maybe you're working or have two jobs and you can't keep an eye on everything. This is unacceptable in America. Let me make sure I don't miss any. Well, no, we know we have all of the servers. You're saying if these internet exploiters can just relocate overseas, that isn't the answer. No, that's not the answer, because we already know most of the servers are in these foreign countries, which is why it's so impossible. But see, I don't think it's impossible with all the technology, right? But then again, we can't even find out about these drones, or so they say. So I don't know. But the servers we know are mostly in foreign countries. And that's why you have international law enforcement going on. But I'm going to leave that for, I'll lose everybody if I talk about that, but we're working on that. Happy love. Now, I was the bad guy. I did not allow any of it. No games if they were not educational. It is not perfect, but don't hand a kid a phone and then cry about it. Stop. Not making children safer at all. Well, here's the thing. Happy love. We live in a world that is digital. We're not giving it back. It's here. Most kids, it's up to you. There's something called parental autonomy. I can't tell you when to give your child a phone, a laptop, a gaming system. But you better be sure, because I bet you paid for that phone and you pay for that internet and you've got that router, that you get that phone. I'll use the phone as an example. And you think about delay is the way. Like, really, why should a child need a phone before 8th grade? Think about this. Now, here's the thing. A child will feel left out. We have plenty of studies because all their friends have phones. You can get a phone through Gab, G-A-B-B, the company, Bark, B-A-R-K. You can get phones that just have texting, phone calling, excuse me, everybody, capabilities, and no internet. This way they can be in touch with you. You can be in touch with them. You can program in their friends they know, family members they know, all of that. But you have to figure this out. I am here to tell you, if you buy any devices, you better know what they're about. You better put your own guardrails on. See, we're trying to get, for instance, like Apple, load the devices with the guardrails, have a PIN number or have a system where the parent can take it off or something. We know kids are savvy and know how to get around all of this, but we got to start somewhere. But exactly, you're exactly right, Happy Love. Like, you just can't hand. There was a story about an 8-year-old with a phone, and her mom found her. She was on Tinder with 12 men. Now, people accuse me of judging, but I'm like, why is an 8-year-old on a phone? Why is she on Tinder, some sort of dating site with 12 men? How did she get there? Obviously, the mother wasn't paying attention. The mother, 12 men, and she was communicating with them. Now, this is sick, and we all know all of this. So we need better ways, new systems. Okay, let's go through the spandex. Aliens from the furthest reaches of the universe delivered their worst criminals to planet Earth. It's so obvious. No, I'm just going to say that was the last administration. Those were the worst, but I'll leave that for a minute. Yes, we all know if you tell a kid you can't do it, they do it. That's why you have to talk to them reasonably, sensibly. Kids are smart. Don't treat them like a child. I know that sounds, a little crazy. It's a partnership in the family, and they have to be spoken to like that. And you have to ask them questions too. It's not like, you wave your finger at them. You never yell at them. I know it's a tough thing to do. You have to ask them, how are you doing? Who are you talking to online? As you're eating dinner, as you're driving in the car to school. You've got to figure this out. You're all smart out there. Do not allow these predators to win. Our government is too slow. This Speaker Johnson, I don't think he's bringing COSA. I don't even want to put this out there. The clock is ticking. Senator Marsha Blackburn, Senator Blumenthal, they are pushing. Parents showed up in droves Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in D.C. We were there pushing, okay? Nothing's happening. Elon Musk went online and said this has to happen. Linda Yaccarino, X, they're going to be a part, and I'm very thrilled about this. More child safety online, okay? If anybody can do it, they can really step up and do it, right? Help us all with this. It's Sunday today, but let's see what happens this week. But again, the clock is ticking. But I'm hearing some rumors that this Speaker Johnson, who's very chummy with President Trump, I'm seeing him at the RNC. I'm seeing him, election night. He doesn't want to do anything till the new congressional session. Now, here's what happens, everybody. Any piece of legislation that does not fully get passed into law, you have to start at the bottom again and go all the way through. We are into year 4 with Kids Online Safety Act. Unacceptable. Because when you look at those parents' faces, because a kid, did away with himself because of sextortion from some guy in Nigeria, unacceptable. Okay, what else? I've got some homework for all of you. I want all of you to always follow lynswarriors.org, actually. Again, I want to thank everybody for your generous donations, for your goods, your services. And I also want to say that one of the most, prized possessions this time of year is, kids want new phones, they want the games, they want the this, the laptops, the Chromebooks, whatever they're getting. Please, if you give that as a gift during this holiday season, please, you can always write to me, lynn@linswarriors.org, ask questions. Please understand safety features. You can go on YouTube and put in anything and get a tutorial, like on a video. It's the greatest thing. You can write to me. I will help you. You can go, our great partner, Chris McKenna at Protect Young Eyes. That website is protectyoungeyes.com. He does little nuggets of, he even has a guide. It's free. If you have this device, if you have this game, if you have that, how you put safety features, what to look for. There's so much free information and resources. You have to just know they're there. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Do not blindly hand your child a phone, even your teens. You got to sit down, because we have too many girls going on OnlyFans. We have too many girls, 12 years old, being approached by men online. Like, you have to have friends and family, okay? And even then, sometimes you got to be careful with everything. But I got to leave that one. Let's go through the comments. Spandex cannot do much until January 20th. I disagree. I disagree because you're here today. We've got people listening to everything I'm saying. So you can already, if you bought a phone, start educating yourself before you give the child the phone. Start talking it's never too late, too early, to anything about any of these issues. It's all going to change in January. You are going to see the greatest thing. You're going to see Tom Homan clean things up. And that is a reminder to everybody. I think you probably know, if you're here listening to me, nobody's ripping kids out of illegals' mother's arms. It's about going after the criminal element that has been just allowed into this country, that is right now in all 50 states, that weapons, drugs, and remember, the drugs coming across the border, primarily from China, trafficked through Mexico, allowed to come, are chemicals now. Chemicals. So it's not just like, a pill or a cocaine or something. Chemicals that, once they get the chemicals across, they throw everything into the pot, mix it up, pill press, whatever they're doing, put them out there. It's very cheap. And this is the problem right now. So we've got chemicals. We've got all this criminality. It's going to end. I know it's going to end, because under Tom Homan's watch, I wouldn't want to stand in his way. It is the criminal element will be removed first, and rightfully so. Why, as Americans, is this allowed to happen? But we're not going to dwell on that, because it's going to be gone. And I already see little changes here in New York. They're going to be gone, all these people. Okay, let's see. Whoops. Galen, new member. We love that. Remember, please, you will get videos first if you become a member. It helps us. Again, I can't stress enough the algorithm. I know everybody's asking you for a lot of things, but this little bit, just becoming a member, helps us tremendously get in the rotation with our videos. James says people need to be afraid. Yeah, it's funny. I gave a speech one time not long ago, and the person whispered, don't scare people. I said people have to be scared, because the inaction, the lack of knowledge, more of our children are being exploited. We need to be scared. And I think everybody's waking up. Everybody's getting on board. But I'll be darned. I could use another word, but it's a family show. If these people who never supported President Trump, the administration, Republicans, conservatives, whatever you want to call it, are now coming out of the woodwork, forcing their way into Washington, and think because the media love them, they had a lot of money behind them, right? Because you have to remember, a lot of these human trafficking, these groups, it's volunteer. It's out of your own pocket. So they don't have that pull and that strength that these other ones were well-financed with their agendas, and they are not going to worm their way in, not on my watch. Okay, let's see what we have. We're going to finish up. I know everybody's busy this holiday season. Let me just make sure there's a little, yeah, it is all about the children. Remember, our future adults, our future leaders. 50 Buicks in the sky. No problems here, folks. Remember, just talk to your kids that they're safe. That's what we have to say. Don't be crazed in front of them. It is very disturbing, though. I do admit it. Let's see. Yes, Michael, thank you. Join and subscribe. Also on Facebook. I know that Facebook, I'm being put on weird things too. Their dating section. Okay, everybody, I'm going to let all of you go. Let me go back. Here's no. See how this computer lags, this technology? No, thank you very much. Watch Eyes Wide Shut. I've watched it many times over the years and understand that there is a culture of depravity. Well, I think we know this, no? Child exploitation is everywhere. Remember, the sheriff who shot the judge. Yeah, where did that story go? I'm trying to get people to talk about that one, what happened there. But also remember, they show us exactly who they are, these people. They do it in front of us because things are so unbelievable. They just say no in front of our eyes. It's not happening. It's like the drones. Nothing to see here. They're doing it because I'm here to finish off with there is exploitation of children and teens and all people in every town, in every rural area, in every city across America. But beginning January 20th, or as Tom Homan said this morning, beginning January 21st, it's going to end. And I stand with him in all of this work. Let me just see. I don't want to miss anybody. Okay, let me just go to, let me see. I'm supposed to go somewhere and let me go back. And no, I want to thank you, Lynn, for your membership. I'm doing this the old-fashioned way. Scrolling through for those who donated. Make sure you get a shout out and bear with me for a second. We've got Carla, the cooking CEO. Carla, I like that, the cooking CEO. Kelly with the super stickers and donation. Thank you very much. We've got Lori Lewis. Thank you all for taking the time on this Sunday morning. I feel it's very important. I've been very busy all week, as you can imagine, between the giveaways and between the work in Washington. Please, please, please continue following us. I plan to do more of these lives. I want you to get the information. I want all of you to honor our hashtag community creates change. There's something each and every one of us can do. You can retweet something from the warriors, use your, leverage the internet for good. You can go to the dollar store and buy some socks. There's plenty of organizations in your neighborhood. You can look to do volunteer work. Everybody knows this. But just keep in mind, there are so many vulnerable Americans out there. And I really think going into 2025, we all need to think about this, understand it, and help each other. Again, I'm going to leave you with this. Community creates change. Thanks for joining us. Now go out and be a warrior.